Hi, I'm Owen from Rask Australia. Thanks for tuning in to the Rask Network.
Before we get into today's show, there are a few things we have to go over.
Firstly, what you're about to hear and see is limited to general information only. It's not personal financial advice like you'd get from a financial planner. Also, it's important to remember that past performance is not indicative of future performance. That means that anything that's happened in the past, or we say today, is not necessarily going to reflect what happens in the future. Lastly, please consider that any of the guests or myself are featuring on this program may have a financial interest in some of the products or shares mentioned. That's enough from me. I hope you enjoyed today's program.
Jordan, welcome to this episode of the Australian Business Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. How you going?
Good, mate. How are you?
Good.
We are joined live and in the virtual flesh by Alexander from Midcoast Yard Services. How you going, mate?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We're going to chat to you about your business and what you're building. And hopefully the idea of this is that it can maybe inspire someone else out there listening to the show to jump behind the mic and tell us a bit about their journey. Or you can have people that listen to this that might be in a similar situation reach out and see what you guys can do to cross-pollinate. But basically, we're going to learn about your business. So there are no right or wrong answers. And if you don't know, mate, just say, make it up or say, I don't know, or I'm yet to discover the answer to that question, because we just simply, not all of us know every question, the answer to every question. And also, hopefully we can depart some wisdom in this session and have you back in a few weeks and maybe present some other stuff to you. But to get the ball rolling, maybe just tell us a little bit about yourself and the business you've built, and then Jordan will ask questions.
Rightio. So it's coming up to about a year now. I started in November last year. It was never planning to be my main source of income. I was working in some hospitality jobs. I was labouring for some people, and I couldn't quite get a job in the field I wanted to. So I just started looking out for work myself, and it started off pretty quickly. Within the first few weeks, I was able to support myself, just finding jobs, just using Facebook mostly to start with.
Mm-hmm.
There's been some challenges along the way. I'm not too far in, but we've definitely come across some tricky situations with clients or scheduling or whatever. I'm also a student at university, so I've had some issues, balancing the pair of those two. But so far, it's been pretty good. I don't think I'd look back. I think I'm pretty happy with where we're at.
Mm-hmm. So you started late last year, 2022, and so the business offers yard services. So I'm imagining things like mowing, basic landscaping, like correct me where I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Any of that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah. So I started off with the vision of landscape, like construction, but I don't have much experience in that. So I've done a few jobs here and there, but it was a bit complex for me to start with. So I've learnt more into, like you said, lawn mowing, hedge trimming, garden maintenance, tree trimming. And we're slowly looking to be a bit more inclusive for property maintenance. So that would be window cleaning, gutter cleaning. But yeah, just one step at a time.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Jordan, you got any questions so far?
No, good so far.
Okay.
Out of curiosity, what are you studying at university?
Education, actually. It's not related at all, but yeah, Bachelor of Education.
Beautiful.
Yeah, great. Okay, so you want to move more into like property maintenance and that type of stuff. Why is that?
I just feel there's a bit of a need for it. I'm in a town, and it's not like a city where you've got loads of options to pick from. When small businesses, pack up and move, you've got this lack in the market where there's certain aspects that you can't really fulfill. So like reliably, these low labor roles like window cleaning or gutter cleaning, there's not always a business there for that, not reliably anyway. And I'd be looking to fill those shoes with, providing those sort of services.
So Midcoast, meaning Port Macquarie and surrounds, or
it's a bit further south. So started in Foster, and we're servicing pretty much Foster to Taree at this stage.
Mm-hmm.
How far is that roughly in kilometers?
Kilometers, 30 to 40. It's a bit of a stretch.
Cool.
Slowly, reducing my service circle. Just made it a bit easier to start off getting business from everywhere. But as I go along, it's nicer to travel less.
Yeah. Do you have a work car?
I've I started at the back of my Forester, so it's been a journey. I've slowly started to add, trailers and all that to it. But all the gear as well, like everything, I've just had to buy up front. So
Yeah, fair
looking to
enough.
get a work vehicle in the next year or so.
So how many days a week do you work then on the business?
Actual laboured hours, like on job sites, is about 2 to 3 days a week. It's not full time just yet because I've got placement with uni and there's some, it's hard to balance everything. But coming home at night, I'd probably do, I'd say close to 30 minutes or an hour of just, record keeping. I like to post a fair bit to social media and keep in touch with my clients. So there's a bit of scheduling. There's a bit of maintenance on the back end.
How much, you don't have to tell us if you don't want to, how much do you turn over each week for the business?
Well, just recently we've had a bit of a change. So to start with, it wasn't nearly as much. It was, probably close to 300 to 500, and that was enough while studying. But as the expenses grown, I'm nearing closer to 1,000 a week now.
You're great, mate. Well done.
Would you know what your profit margin is on that?
Look, it's hard for me. I've got like a lot of the numbers there and the expenses and whatnot. I've found it difficult tracking the difference between profit and like my wage. So as I've got more data, like I've been a bit more diligent with recording what I earn and stuff. I'm able to slowly figure that out. But the profit margins are obviously higher because I don't have much overhead or employees or anything.
In terms of tracking everything, are you using a Xero? Was it a spreadsheet? Are you just writing it down? What's the process?
Yeah, it started off writing it down. That's why my tracking is starting to get a bit better. I've started using Notion.
Oh, beauty.
Notion's been pretty good just to have everything there, set out a template, just press it, next template's up, and I just fill the data each week. So that's my process for that at the moment. And,
so it's like a weekly template where you just duplicate it and you got all your jobs and your whatever.
Yeah, I record a fair bit actually. Budgeted hours, hourly rate, expected expenses, expected revenue, the time spent on jobs. I record a fair bit because I like to see what services are making more and what are killing my profits, and that's helped recently to up my prices and understand what I'm better doing.
That's really impressive, mate.
Well done.
Yeah, so early on to recognize that and to actually focus on it. That's very rare.
Yeah, especially those metrics that you just mentioned as well, like fantastic budgeted hours. As you continue to go on, it'll become a lot easier to identify. Some of the mistakes that we see businesses make is that it's just associated expenses per job. Call it, in your case, it may be fuel and just your laboured hours, and you just apply a margin on top, and that's it. The good thing about what you're doing is you're capturing everything: the insurance for your car, all the other associated car costs, and tool repair and maintenance as well. So, well done.
Selfish question from me.
Yeah.
What type of whippersnipper or lawnmower do you use?
Well, it's funny. I reckon it was the second week of my business, and I went for this huge job, and I was using this little electric whippersnipper. I probably won't say the brand, and it wasn't too great for the line of work I was doing. So I've upgraded to a Husqvarna. It's a commercial grade. It's 525. And then
Nice.
Lawnmower. I just bought one recently, the Honda HRU 196. So
is that one that electric? It like pushes itself?
Self-propelled? No, that is the step up. That would, it is a step up, but it's the same. It's the same build pretty much.
Cool. What did that lawnmower cost you, out of curiosity?
$11.50.
Oh, beautiful.
Okay.
And do you find that helps you be more efficient on jobs? Are you getting jobs done quicker?
Yes, and there's also much less maintenance. So I started with some homeware equipment. I was just mowing my own lawn, and I just started using that to mow lawns, and that wasn't commercial grade. So I found myself, doing maintenance much more frequently. But now that I've got that, there's reduced costs and just reliability. I know it's not going to break on me.
I feel like $1,000 a week is a good amount of money to be working to be making while you're studying, mate. So
fantastic.
yeah, honestly,
It's a step up. It's a step up from before, working hospitality.
Are you happy with it?
I am happy with it. Right now, it's decent. Like, obviously, you got to take away the expenses. That's not profit, that's revenue. I still think there's room to grow. I think my hardest challenge is shifting from an employee mindset to a business owner. Like, earlier on, I could tell you my labor rates. I was saying 30 to 35 to customers. And after expenses, you're not really making much. Even now, I think there's room to grow. But I just think there is room to grow. I'm happy with what I've got, but I think there could be improvement still.
Yeah, great. What do you charge? Do you have a fixed rate to charge?
Yes. So we're coming to spring, so prices generally do raise just because, there's more demand for it. At the moment, it's 65-ish per hour for gardening jobs, and that's for more ongoing work. I generally prefer to quote for, one-off jobs like mowing or tree trimming and stuff.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Do you do, is it like almost exclusively like domestic style yard services, so like houses and that sort of stuff, or is there businesses in the mix too?
I've got mostly residential. I do have about 3 commercial clients at the moment, which I find are definitely better customers. They're just a bit better with paying bills and just more reliable. They just want their lawns looking nice.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, go for Jordan.
I was just going to say, on that, I know you mentioned before incorporating some other services. Have you thought about like how that would work if you were to, because what I'm thinking is like maximizing average client value. So if you're going to do a lawn and they've got a driveway to do like a gurney and like a reseal, have you given a thought to any of that stuff and other services that you can add to maximize each client's value?
I got to say, I have put a fair bit of thought to it. It's more about prioritizing whichever's best. I don't want to going into that gurneying is a fair bit of a startup cost, and going into the second year of business, I don't want to chuck another $5,000 or something I might only use once or twice a week. Whereas I'd rather probably double down on what equipment I do already have, which is a new mower and a commercial grade whipper snipper, and just probably lean into more cheaper costs for services.
Can I ask, in terms, just on that point that you just said, that the gurney or the driveway setup costing $5,000, what would you be charging for that?
It's
think the mindset of not hourly but quote.
Not hourly. I couldn't tell you for sure because I haven't done it. But quotes, I think most driveways would go for $200 to $250. I'd say you could probably go higher. There definitely would be, but I think that would be the average ticket for the sort of area I'm in.
And you said off 2 sales a week, you'd use it twice a week, do you think?
I probably could do, yeah.
So $500 a week, call it 10 weeks to pay it off. Okay, cool. Sorry, I need to remember fact finding. No solutions, just fact finding today.
No. That's good, mate. Do it. Yeah, that's why Alexander's here. He wants some answers. No. He wants some answers to some questions.
Okay.
Go for it then, John.
No, go for it.
How did you find your 3 commercial customers?
Like really good paying in terms of like you send a bill, there's no questions asked. It's just, all right, that's what it takes to pay it. Whereas particularly earlier days, you'd send an invoice to a customer and they'd just be like, oh, is this all? Did you include this and this? And it would be tricky to try and get payment. Whereas commercial, it's just a bit more reliable, I'd say.
Yeah. Did they find you online, or how did they come to you?
So most of my work has either been word of mouth or social media branding. Like I said, I like to post a bit, and I think that's spread around a little bit to get some awareness in the community.
For sure. In terms of when you are going to customers, and again, thinking of that maximizing client value mindset, do you have like a pre-prepared sales script where there is upsells and perhaps some objection handles as well? Is that something that you do?
Just recently, I don't really have a script, but just recently I've been trying to upsell an all-inclusive package to clients. So instead of, like, they may ask me for a mowing service and I might just go like, we offer fertilization, herbicide treatments, just fan out the options just to show them that it's not just a lawn mowing company.
What did you call it? Sorry, all of what?
There's fertilizing, herbicides. There's a few other sort of aspects.
All inclusive.
All inclusive. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Cool. And that would be like a meaningful upsell for you? Like, would that be in the hundreds of dollars or something like that?
Yeah, look, it would add an extra a couple hours a month per client. So I would say, yeah, at least 100, 150 a month.
Cool. Now, so just in terms of acquisition of new people, do you have business cards? I noticed you're wearing a shirt there.
Yep.
That's the logo.
Yeah, I do have business cards, but that's probably the extent at this stage.
Yep. Yeah. Do you use services like Facebook, like the marketplace, or Gumtree, or anything like that?
Facebook, yes. I found the local community groups to be really helpful. You just see people posting up an ad, looking for a gardener, looking for a mower, and that's sort of where I've gotten a lot of work. But this spring, this summer, I've got a bit more free time. I'm on uni break, so I'm looking to deploy some money and time into probably acquiring better customers. I know that I can get some leads on Facebook, but I'm not getting my pick of the clients there if I'm only getting a couple leads a week.
What do you mean by better customers?
Well, if you get 10 leads through the door, 2 or 3 of them might be a really good fit. 2 or 3 of them, another 2 or 3 might just be really not within your budget range. But if you got 100 in the door, you've got 20 clients to pick and choose from that are really good, and you've got some options there. So I think that's probably what I'd be looking at doing.
The way you're breaking things down is great. Like on that number basis as well, to identify that if I'm getting 100 leads and 20% are good, like the mindset's there. So
I've done a fair bit of research. Like I'm out listening to podcasts all day while mowing, so I listen to a fair bit.
Yeah. Do you take notes when you listen to podcasts? Like you probably can't when you're working, but like, do you?
Yeah, sometimes I do. I hear something and I just got to get my phone out and just type in some notes. Yeah. Otherwise, it's just go out one ear to the other and just forget it.
There's nothing from the Australian Business Podcast on there.
Nothing at all.
What about in terms of, I imagine you've just got yourself an ABN and set up your business structure that way?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
cool. Trader.
Yeah, cool. Good session on that recently by 2 accountants.
Yes, so I've heard.
And so there's no website, is there? Because when I was Googling it, I was coming up. No, okay, cool.
Yeah. Walk us through your online presence in terms of like socials.
Facebook and Instagram are the main ones. TikTok? No, I would like to do that. I just haven't. Yeah, I suppose I haven't just committed to it yet.
Yeah, and the reason I ask that is because I've seen another lawn mowing service that does it, and this bloke, I don't know, I think he is an Aussie dude. I'm not sure what his name is.
Might be Tim. He's big in the industry.
And he knocks on the doors and just goes, "Mate, I'll cut your grass for free." Yeah,
I've done that once before.
Yeah, but like the content that he generates from that, he's got hundreds of thousands of followers, and that would, you're on uni break. It costs you nothing but time. Set the camera up and off you go. I love watching that stuff. I don't know why. I just find it so
satisfying. It's just satisfying. Yeah.
It's like a haircut, right? Well. Like it looks good before and after.
For sure.
Yeah. So Facebook, Instagram, you just take before and after shots and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, more recently I've leaning into doing some reels. They haven't I've had one go off recently, which was a complete shock to me. It hit 1 million views, which is huge because
no way. Well done.
Is that this one?
Yeah, it's one of the recent ones anyway. And
it's like you're taking some stumps out of the ground or something.
Yeah, nothing special. Just went up.
1.2 million views on that. I'm curious, did that translate to anything meaningful?
Not customers, just followers pretty much. I'd say I doubled my followers from that, which isn't huge in terms of 100 or 200, but for me, that was a huge jump.
Yeah.
But even the one after that, you got 10K as well.
Yeah, so it might have translated to something big, but we'll see.
That's, well, I wouldn't know many people that do lawn mowing that have 1.2 million views on a video. I would say, though, a big part of your business will be what you were kind of referring to before, which is word of mouth. I think the business that you're in is like it's a relationship business more than anything else, right?
Yeah.
It's how well you can communicate and not just get the job done. I think that's the most important thing. Like I've got a friend that's does a lot of work in space. Is pretty successful. He's grown it really, really well, and I've gone to work with him. Not for cash in hand aid, I've gone to
I don't know
work.
what you're talking about.
Yeah, I've gone to work for him, and just seeing him interact with his clients is just like a sight to behold. Like he's out there, he's just greasing the wheels constantly.
It's a big part of it.
Yeah, that's probably like I'm over there on the tools, with the whippersnipper slaving away, but he's just over there just like drumming up more business, and it's just so natural to him. I can see why he's good at it.
It's hard to get into that. I've just recently started not knocking on doors. Just if I see somebody out and about mowing their own lawn and they look like they're a bit old or something, I just offer just a lend of hand or just to speak and have a chat with them. And most of the time, it turns out to be something a bit more meaningful when they just refer it on to the next person.
Yeah. I feel like now that you've got an online, I think for you, an online presence will add legitimacy. I don't know how much it adds around customer acquisition.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah, agreed.
But the legitimacy will be what is even if you just got a very cheap website that looked professional but cheap, it would allow you to start pitching for commercial jobs, which is a game changer in terms of income.
Okay.
And so that's where like if you wanted to scale it, I'd say that's like the next step beyond. So you should if you want that, of course, start with why. That's probably where you should start focusing your attention now. If that's what you want, of course. Is that what you want? Like, do you want to finish your teaching and go and do that, or do you want to pursue this? Or
no, look, honestly, I want to finish the teaching degree, but after uni, I'm going to stay with this for a while. I'm young, I'm fit. I want to give this a shot before I go into teaching. I've got the ticket. I can do it whenever I'd want.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But yeah, I've got time ahead of me. So this takes 5 to 10 years to sort it out, and that's how long it takes.
Yeah,
Awesome.
For sure.
If you were to wave the magic wand and fast forward 12 months, what would be the ideal outcome? If it was let's focus on the business itself.
Yeah, of course.
If money wasn't an issue, what would be the perfect scenario?
Look, ideally, I'd like, because I know I'll have a much more commitment next year to uni that I've got to do. So I would like to be working just 2 days a week, but I would like those 2 days to be with an employee or somebody that can work with me, on and off. And in terms of revenue, I'd like to be, I think it's achievable to hit 2K a week between 2 people in 2 days. It's not easy, but I think ideally hitting 2,000 a week in revenue would be a large goal, but achievable with the right sort of approach.
So it'll be like a subby for 2 days, and then yourself will be working 2 days as well?
2 days with me. I wouldn't have them going out doing jobs for me. I'd love them to work with me because I don't really have the facility to send them out on their own. Like, it's just not that option.
Yeah. So in terms of synergies, so what would they bring to the table? It might be obvious. What would they bring to the table that you can't do yourself?
Well, the obvious one is more labor hours. That would bring more profit to the business. Secondly, more of a selfish approach. It'd be more enjoyable. I'm out there not every day, but every week by myself. And I've trialed having a few people help me out, and it's nice to have somebody to chat with. I do have a friend that is quite knowledgeable in the area, and I feel like that would be nice to have him working with me a few days a week, and he's interested, and that would probably be the next steps for the next year or so.
I imagine there'd be quite a few uni students if you could spin this up. Like a lot of second year, first year uni students that would be looking for work that would be, not on weekends and pays them decent, coin and all that. How much would someone like this cost, do you reckon? Just if you don't have an answer, it's okay. But.
No, I've like I said, I've had some people help me out here and there. I've paid them $30 an hour, which I feel is quite reasonable. But when they've got their own full-time jobs and they're helping out on the weekend, it's like I find that to be quite valuable to me. It's like, thank you for coming out on the weekend and helping me out, because they're mostly friends.
Yeah, for sure. That's great. Cool. And sorry, Jordan, go.
In terms of that 2 days a week and having two people with you, having one person working with you, do you think you'll be able to get double the work done there, considering you don't want to send them out by themselves?
Not double. From what I've seen, the efficiency would drop to about 70 to 80%. And that's where I've got to consider closing my route density so there's less downtime. Because right now my work is sporadic over 2 different towns. But closing that to one area, say either choose Foster or Taree, it would be much more efficient, and it could be close to an extra 100%. But it'll never be perfect like that.
So considerable amount on travel time at the moment?
Considerable. Some days, I'd say 1 day a week, definitely I go to Foster, which is about 40 minutes each way. But once I'm there, most of the work is in the same spot.
Yeah, cool.
I can't remember what I was going to ask you, but that's okay. So have you had anyone mentor you or work with you on the business? Like anyone?
Not directly. I do have a good friend, Will. He's got a business in lawn mowing in Foster. He's been a good help to me. I've talked to him here and there, but I don't like asking him too much because we are direct competitors, but he does give me some guidance on in terms of like the actual work itself, gardening and lawn mowing. Yeah,
great. In terms of businesses that you look at in the industry, are there some around you that you think, wow, that looks like a really impressive business?
There's one called Outside In Property Services. That's a large one. Like the name suggests, outside in, so they do interior and exterior property services, and they're quite well established. So I think they do it well. I think they've got a good business going on.
Yeah, cool. And so you said they could be like doing well. What makes you think that about them?
From my perspective, seeing their work vehicles out and about, there's obviously a few of them, signage, their Facebook and Instagram. Well, I know Facebook following is quite large, and just from what I've seen talking to the mower shop, that's one of their biggest clients coming in for servicing equipment. So it's just that's what I've seen.
Yeah, great. Yeah. Okay.
Excellent. To go back to, I guess, record keeping and accounting, do you find that you're getting paid? Like, say you were to come and do a job for me today, are most clients paying you straight away?
If they don't, I've just dropped them. I've given them a bit of warning, but I've come to realize that that's not the type of business I want. If it's something I can control, I'll change it. So I've had some clients not pay me on time, and I've been very clear with them. If they don't, then we move forward and just, we part ways.
What are your payment terms? Is it cash on delivery, as in like soon as you're finished, you're collecting payment with like a terminal of some sort?
Initially, that was the go, but I've just found it to be more efficient with sending invoices via Henry. I use Henry, and it's nice. They don't have to be home. So
yeah, that's probably the big one, isn't it? A lot of them wouldn't be home.
Yeah.
In terms of your week, do you break it up? Like, do you time block your week so you've got your Mondays are for planning, your Fridays are for invoicing, or that's an example, but like how do you do that? Do you think about
that? So big one is planning around uni. So whatever days I've got to be at uni, I'll fit that in around there. I'd say this past uni session, I was doing set days in set areas. So cut down time going to certain areas. And then some days I do the record keeping and just general invoicing, just checking over what I've got for the week ahead, pretty much.
It's cool, man.
Awesome. And you mentioned before that your partner's helping you with scheduling. Are you using a scheduling app, or is that just what's the process?
Yeah, Jamie, my partner, fiance, she's helping me with scheduling we were using this CRM called Copilot. It's American based, but we found it to just be a bit complicated for what we've got going on right now. Mm-hmm. But just using the calendar, but there's probably an area to improve on, but I'm not sure if I want the overhead each month going out, $30 a month for something I can manage at the time being.
Mm.
Cool. Yeah, because $30 a month, that's exactly what I was going to, the software piece that I think we may have spoken about before that I was going to suggest.
Which software is that? Which software is that, John?
ServiceMate.
ServiceMate. Yeah, that's a good one. That is good.
And the reason that I say that is I get and that goes back to the mindset you were speaking about before. But if that software costs you $30 a month, but it can save you, or call it $30 a month, but it can save you 5 hours a month, it then becomes worth it given you're charging $65 an hour, $75 an hour. And also considering that you can do your invoicing from there, your scheduling, and it's really good in terms of what client facing. So you can send organize a client to receive a text message when you're on your way to the job. So it can just help with sort of leveling up that perceived service that you offer to clients.
That's actually something I had in mind, the perceived value for a client. I would like to sort of improve that, because as I am increasing my rates, I can't just have everything stay the same. So that's probably a good point, having the automations. Is that ServiceMate provides automations?
Yep. They've got all of that. And I just think, again, just shifting that mindset from employee to business owner, that's going to be a big one, where it's reinvesting that money back in. Again, there's a lot of things to consider when reinvesting money back in, especially when you're at uni, don't know the living situation. But if you can afford to do it, then I strongly suggest it.
Ready? Okay. I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah.
Because you might find that in a year from now that the most optimal way to go forward is to make use of all of these tools and have your own system, have your own system that basically relies on you as the sole operator, but it might be hyper profitable in comparison to just trying to scale people, which is quite difficult to do.
That's something I've been considering as well. The difference between getting like a highly profitable business with just a few people with me compared to, growing to something where I'm not working in the business anymore. There's just people. It's, I feel like there's less challenges being, your sole proprietor with some helpers out.
Yeah, absolutely. And it can be, you see this in most industries, I'd say, particularly service-based industries, where they scale really quickly and then they just say, this is not how I want to live my life. And they come back down to maybe yourself and one or two others that are here and there. But yeah, and what I've found so far is that the people that are really successful at running those scalable businesses, they think meticulously about some of these things early in the journey, which it seems you're doing anyway. But that's what I've found.
It's so true. Having that you can be a one-man band and have, whether it's one apprentice, and you can be making as much profit as someone who's turning over $1 million or $1.5 million. I think people really underestimate that. Like from what I've seen as well, having it just yourself. If you've nailed your pricing, you've nailed your scheduling and your processes, the profit margins can be so much higher and so much less stressful than running a team of 3 or 4 people for the same profit.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, let alone the stress. You just need to make sure you're comfortable taking holidays in your winter, and not over summer, because grass gets long over Christmas.
Yeah, I'm taking 2 weeks now for parental leave.
Oh, congrats, mate! Congrats.
How are you finding that? You still getting calls?
Yeah, I've been very clear with clients to say what the approach is. One commercial client I've had to service. It was a very brief service, but I sort of feel guilty for taking time out to go and do that. But, sometimes you just got to keep the business in order.
Yeah.
I haven't worked that one out either.
I think most people that listen to this show, all the business owners like us, don't worry, misery loves company sometimes, and we just got to do what we're going to do. But congrats, mate. That's wonderful news. So, and it presents a whole different set of challenges as well. Okay, so I feel like I've got a lot that I'd be happy to go on. Jordan, is there anything else you want to ask Alexander?
I've got some questions. So we've touched on invoicing, the sales process. Pretty much. And you're tracking everything in Henry. Bad debt. I'm guessing there's not much bad debt because you're just cutting clients if they're not paying you, which is fantastic. Bank account structure, if you're comfortable talking about it.
Yes. So that's actually the thing I did call you about a few months ago, was regarding bank account structure. I was running it all from my personal account to begin with. And as you can tell, it's a nightmare in terms of claiming expenses, tracking stuff. Separate business account. I actually use a separate bank as well for that. So it's very, structured.
Do you have just that one transaction account and a savings account, or just one transaction account?
had a transaction and a savings, but I've now switched it to 3. So transaction, savings, and maintenance. So I just put away the maintenance costs for things. So I know
Beautiful.
they're covered.
Okay, great. Well, what we might do then, I think we've got everything we need to go away and put some thoughts together for you. And we've got your goal for the next 12 months, which is great. I think based on what you've said so far, mate, I know you listen to a lot of podcasts and take notes and all that sort of stuff, but you're in a very, very, very good position in terms of your knowledge and understanding of your own business and the things that you've tried and how you think about things. That's just speaking for myself.
I agree. Agreed.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's, to be honest, it's probably, well, it is. It's rarer than it would seem. Like, you've done a really, really good job. And I think you should pay a lot of credit to yourself, mate, to still be at uni, have a business that's turning over $1,000 a week. Of course, you've got expenses and these types of things. I think that's a wonderful thing. And I know it's a lot of hard work, but I think there's a lot of opportunity in front of you to get what you want out of it. Like, I think, to be honest, you'll probably get that out of it anyway, just based on what you're saying and where you're going. But yeah, we'll come back. We'll check back in with you in a couple of weeks. And if we, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, of course.
Great. And if anyone listening to this is from everywhere that I've just mentioned, reach out to him. There'll be a link in the show notes to his Instagram. You can check out that 1.2 million viral video that we just referenced. But also, you can get in contact if you need someone for yard services, property maintenance, whatever. Get in contact with him and say good day. And Jordan and I are going to look forward to working with you over the next few weeks and months, mate. I think it's great.
Happy days.
Happy days indeed. So, mate, thanks for taking some time to chat to Jordan and me.
Of course. Thank you for the opportunity. It's been great.